All right, so today we have up and coming Austin-based artist Jxckson with us. How are you doing today?
Hey, doing well. Thank you for having me.
Of course, thank you for being here. So, for those who have never heard of you, how would you describe yourself and your artistry?
Yeah, great question. So I consider myself alternative pop. Um, I spell my name Jxckson for a reason. So the X stands for a variable. Not to nerd out, but it just shows that, I like to experiment with different sounds in pop. That's why I kind of label myself in the alt space. But I'll do everything from I just do it all. It's hard to explain, but it's all pop music.
Okay.
Some people say there's spoken word moments, there's rap moments, there's hip hop elements, there are dark pop elements, avant pop moments. So it's a mixed thing. So I usually like to say alt pop. It's a little experimental, but yeah, check it out.
Perfect. And have you always had this passion for singing and creating music?
I have. So, and we have the home videos to unfortunately prove it. Hopefully my family never digitizes those.
Oh,
But
they
since
will.
the age
I
of
didn't
like,
say that they
oh,
will.
they will be. I know. I'm dreading the day. But ever since I was about the age of two, I was singing and dancing and any like ask them to bring up the camera and I was that kid.
Okay.
So yeah, I think I was two when my parents realized that I loved to sing, and I think it was Color Me Bad, I Want to Sex You Up was on the radio. And they heard me harmonizing in the back and they're like, oh no. So I think that's really telling.
Yes, yes. Well, you are about to release your latest single, "Time Waits for No One." Now, can you tell us more about the track's concept and the inspiration behind it?
Yeah, so this is part of the series, The Deep End, which was my last EP.
Hmm.
This is kind of a post follow-up where I've released kind of the deeper side of my artistry, my songwriting, where I wanted to write kind of more personal um, things that I was feeling. So I wrote Time Waits for No One with about my anxiety and obsession with time, not feeling like I had enough time, feeling like, did I waste time? Have I done enough with the time that I've given? So it just really works around that anxiety, and that time waits for no one. So it's like time is now. So instead of thinking like I'll get to it, it's kind of a note to myself to do it now. The opening line of the song is, if I could take it all back, I wouldn't, which was the first line I wrote for the song, and that kind of established the tone that I'm really happy with what I've done so far, and I feel like it's all a learning opportunity. So yeah, the song's a bit dark and a bit experimental, but that's kind of the core of it. That time is uh time is something, or
Yeah,
it's something.
yeah. Yeah, I've always been a big believer that things happen for a reason and it happens in its own moment. So you can't rush it, that
Mhm.
it would always just happen on its own time.
Yes, exactly. And that's what all the song about. It's my anxiety. I even made sure it didn't follow like a traditional kind of songwriting pattern. It's a bit chopped up and a bit unexpected,
Okay.
which I wanted that as well to kind of feed into that unpredictability of time.
Yeah, definitely. And it's also like an immersive experience that meticulously crafted to resonate with listeners on multiple levels. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah,
Mm, yeah.
different things to pick out each listen. So
Okay.
did that very intentionally.
Okay. Awesome. And is there anything in particular overall that you hope listeners will take away from this song?
Just realize that life is short and stop trying to live for other people. Do
Mhm.
what you want, and time is a precious resource. So value it and yeah, cherish it.
Definitely don't waste it.
No, don't waste it.
Now, is this track on the Deep Ends EP?
It is not, but I am working on an extended, a deluxe version of it, which a lot of my more recent singles, like my tattoo cover, Null and Void, my last single, Save Yourself, Keep Me Warm, and now um, Time Waits for No One, and two other tracks will be on the extended version,
Okay.
probably right before summertime is
Okay.
what I'm planning for. But it's all part of this kind of deep end, deeper pop era that I'm currently in.
Okay. Perfect. And you've always been drawn to the pop genre?
No,
No?
Actually, it was funny. My first EP was it was never a planned EP. It was called Paradox, and it was just me experimenting with different singles. And I felt like it was very pop, very me thinking about what I thought was pop music and wanted people to listen to. This new era was more of, I kind of felt like it was getting a little superficial,
Mhm.
and I wanted to turn inward and be a little more introspective. That's why I called it the deep end. It was kind of the deep end of myself, my artistry, my songwriting, and how far can I dig. And it's kind of been this darker mood. I think Save Yourself shows that as well, and some vulnerability and Keep Me Warm. So I've loved the exploration, and I feel like I've learned a lot about myself, not only as a person but as an artist as well.
Mhm.
Um, Especially about 4 or 5 years in, that I didn't think I would learn.
Definitely. Well, as a Black and queer artist, you love to break boundaries. How are you going to continue to do that with everything you do?
Yeah, I think something I've learned in the last year too. I think I thought I was living very authentically, but I've learned I was still making decisions based off of how other people were going to perceive me, and be judged. And I'm kind of letting go of that. It's an ongoing process of like confidence finding and boosting.
Mhm.
Um, So I'll push boundaries by one, embracing my authentic self. Two, also just keep experimenting with different music. I'm already planning new songs for later in the year, and it's an evolution that's different from what I'm doing even now.
Mhm.
So I just want to continue pushing myself, to find out what I'm capable of. And I surprise myself each time, and I want to just keep pushing. So
Keep
push
pushing.
myself, push boundaries, and I don't know. I feel like it's all connected.
Yeah, it's all connected in there somewhere, definitely. And there are a lot of people who struggle with trying to find their true authentic self and embracing themselves. What would you say is the key to that?
Letting go of other people's opinion.
Mhm.
I know, and I also don't want to sound like I figured it out. It's still a work in progress for me as well. And I think that's reflected in my music too. It's self-discovery. And I want people to feel that sense of just self-discovery for themselves too. But it's letting go of other people's opinion. Yeah, even when I think I've reached that point, I still find myself in different scenarios where I was like, oh, I'm doing this because I think like I fear someone's going to think this or think that, and I have to talk myself like, nope, just be in the moment, be myself,
Mhm.
like kind of give myself a pep talk and like, nope, you have to deprogram and kind of unlearn some things and relearn who I am in the process. So it is a progress. I don't think anyone truly reaches the end of that journey. Um, there's probably a few, but still, I think it's hard. It's hard work.
Hard. Yeah, definitely. You just have to keep going with it. Now, being based in Austin, Texas, what is the queer music scene like down there?
Yeah, it's very interesting. So I started right before the pandemic started.
Okay.
So that sense of community, I feel like I built more of my queer community with other artists more
Mhm.
internationally or across the country. Once things started kind of opening, when lockdown kind of ended, um, it started trying to go to more event, connecting with other queer artists. So it's a nice scene. It's a really cool scene. I've started doing a few more shows earlier this year and just meeting a lot of just I don't know. I'm trying to find the word. Definitely not Austin weirdness. There's just a bunch of different unique, different type of acts and artists, and I've recently found a very big like burlesque scene,
Okay.
um, dance community, dance queer dance community, and it's just I feel like everywhere I turn, I'm finding different pockets. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's not as prevalent as I first thought it would be, but there's just so many different types of communities that I just fall in love with being around. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Nice, nice. Now, do you dabble in burlesque yourself?
a lot of my recent work has been burlesque inspired.
Okay.
My first live show was actually part of a burlesque act, so I was the musical act for a burlesque show.
Mhm.
I just recently in August started taking heels dance class, which has been very transformative just for me as a performer and a dancer.
Mhm.
Where I didn't think I was going to love it, and I just fell in love with it. Um, So I dabble a little bit, maybe some more in the future.
Mhm.
We'll see, but you definitely see it more reflected in music. Like my opener track for the deep end is called Into the Light, which some of that kind of dramatics was inspired by burlesque and
Mhm.
burlesque storytelling. And then I have a dance rehearsal that I did with my dancers for that piece where it's very burlesque inspired and chair dances and it's all there. So yeah, yeah. I dabble a little bit.
I love
Definitely want to do more.
All right, perfect, fantastic. So you said that you have a couple more singles coming out this year. What other major goals would you like to accomplish with your career and artistry in 2024?
Yeah, my main goal, and I set my intentions kind of for this new year. It's not really stats oriented. I
Mhm.
wanted to move away from like, oh, I want X number of streams or followers. My main goal is that I want to connect with more people.
Okay.
So engaging with more people, having conversation, doing more live shows,
Mhm.
and just kind of developing myself as an artist is my main goal, and what I can learn with each single. I mean, yes, I'll be lying if I said, oh, it'd be great to grow the fan base more and more. And those stats do matter, but at the end of the day, I think it's more about connecting, and I hope people take something away from my music or feel a little more empowered, feel more
Definitely.
themselves or freeing, and focus more on that as a
Mhm.
takeaway for this year.
For sure. Great. Well, how can one stay up to date with you, Jackson?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram. I'm probably on it way too much, but you can always shoot me a message and follow me. That's Jxckson, Jxckson .music. It's the same for TikTok as well. And those are the two places you can usually find me, or Jxckson.com for all the latest news and updates.
Perfect. And Time Waits for No One comes out January 26th. Is that correct?
26th, January 26th.
All right.
It's around the corner. I'm excited.
Yes. Well, then before we wrap up, are there any other upcoming projects or anything else you'd like to mention or plug at this time?
I am working. The new single after is going to be a cover song.
Okay.
I won't reveal too much, but I am working on a fun video project for it, and probably expect that in March and April. And I'm working on that the deluxe version of the deep end right before the summer. So two exciting things to look forward to even before summer.
Definitely. So a lot coming up.
Yes, stay busy.
Yes, perfect.